You're on your way to work, bored. Monday, the week's barely started. You walk into the trading floor because, yes, you're a trader too, and the scene is strange. Nobody's working. They're playing a silly little helicopter game. You ask what's going on, and someone answers like they're telling you the coffee ran out.
You didn't hear? The system's down.
Systems down? At one of the most important banks in the world? That bank was Lehman Brothers, and that Monday was September 15th, 2008, the day Lehman collapsed. So this is that 2008 crisis everyone talks about? Yes. Let me explain. Banks live off borrowing money, making giant promises with that money, and betting everyone will keep believing everything's fine. Except Lehman had promised more than it could handle. And when trust collapses, it doesn't fall alone. At Lehman, the entire empire came down. And you were there. You saw it from the inside. But hold on. Who's you? You're Nik Storonsky, the man who, years later, will found a fintech called Revolut, today valued at $75 billion, with more than 65 million customers worldwide. But wait, that's supposed to happen at the end of this video. We're still at the beginning. And in 2008, you've got two little problems. Your job just turned to dust, and your British visa depends on you having one. After all, you're an immigrant, born in Russia in 1984. When the Soviet Union collapsed, you were 7 years old. As a teenager, you won the International Economics Olympiad, and not just once, twice. And here's worth a quick pause to explain why you weren't exactly your average trader. On top of a master's degree in economics, you also completed another in physics, simultaneously. In other words, a genius trader who in 2006 went to work in London. When Lehman turned to ash, you landed at Credit Suisse. You stuck around for 5 years, counting the days until your British passport came through. And the moment it did, you quit on the spot. The year was 2013, and the next few months you spent traveling, having fun. You're also into kitesurfing and extreme sports. But on every trip, the same annoyance. Your money would leave one currency and arrive in another smaller, skinnier, humiliated, like it had been mugged on the way. It pissed you off. And no, you weren't a tightwad. What pissed you off was the waste, paying a fee you knew was completely useless. Then came the question. Why doesn't a 100% digital bank exist? With a multi-currency account, a single card, international transfers, and fair exchange rates? Your idea was simple, an app and a card to spend in any currency without getting robbed along the way. Sounds obvious today, but back then, it was revolutionary. Revolut. Just one little detail, everyone said it was impossible. You weren't an engineer, and everyone you told the idea to thought challenging century-old banks was a joke. But you knew the financial market like nobody else, and you had a plan. What if the balance didn't sit on the card itself, but on its own ledger? That's where Vlad Yatsenko comes in. Ukrainian, software engineer, the guy who'd build what you imagined. You put 300,000 pounds of your own money in and hired more people. It took about 18 months until the app was up and running. Then came the boring part, convincing investors. You pitched door after door until one fund in London sized you up and said, "All right, I'll fund this circus," and handed you 1.5 million pounds as a gift, but took almost 15% of the company in exchange. A fat slice of your delicious cake. You signed with no way out. Then the game flipped. 1 customer a day, then 5, 10, 100, 1,000. The little card born to fix a traveler's annoyance started annoying the big banks. But here came your kryptonite to becoming a big bank. Brexit. Let me tell you, in 2016, there was a huge fight in the European Union. Imagine they were all siblings, the kind that borrow each other's clothes. The United Kingdom stomped its foot and said, "I'm not lending anymore." The other siblings were like, "Okay, but then you don't get to use our stuff anymore." The problem? Your company, Revolut, lived in London, and so did most of your customers. You were at serious risk of losing the right to operate in all of Europe by the end of 2020. You needed a European license, fast. You tried Luxembourg first in 2018. Didn't work. Then you aimed at Ireland. But the Irish regulator just kept stalling and stalling, and the years went by. Meanwhile, you had a less obvious idea. Lithuania, small country, fast regulator, hungry to attract fintech. In December 2018, they handed you the European banking license. Done! Now you had a European passport to call your own. When Brexit became official in December 2020, you simply moved your European customers over to the Lithuanian entity. The wall went up, and you were already on the other side, safe inside the European Union. Just one detail left: becoming a real bank in the United Kingdom, at home. That's when you found out that the British regulator is like a grumpy bouncer who checks your ID 5 years in a row before letting you in. You applied for the license in 2021, thinking it'd come through in 2. It came through in March 2026. And you? You told the full story behind that challenge yourself on a podcast.
Is there any battles on Revolut that you felt that you lost? Or,
Sure, of course, many. I mean, obviously with experience, you realize that many things I started went wrong, and I should have avoided it.
Tell me an example of one you remember.
In reality, we applied for banking license too late, right? Because when you're a large organization, it's much more difficult to receive a banking license.
And even so, the company grew. Today, Revolut, the bank founded by Nik, has more than 65 million customers, a presence in over 160 countries, and is valued at $75 billion. And those executives who laughed at him would be begging today to have invested in that idea. This video is a brief summary of Nik's career. You can hear the full story about him right now on the full podcast on the HD and HD channel with Henrique Dubugras. Now, to prove you watched this far, write, "I'm a genius too" in the comments. Because, let's be honest, you are.